I'm back. Not that I was ever really gone. Hello. Little Friday action here. It is Friday, June 27th. I am back. I'm back from 2.5 weeks away from my home, which is insane. Yeah, it's been a little bit. I'll jump into that if I see some people in the viewing audience. Sir. And my little fun moment time here, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what I'm talking about. If I know you, as in not just know your name, if you're a friend of mine, I will let you up. So I see Alex, I see Trevor. You would be prime candidates to sit on my couch with me and do this live stream. So let me is this how you do it? No, I don't want that. What do we do? No. All right. Hold on a second. Where is? Stay right there. I am here, just trying to get all my ducks in a row. I'm here. You're in a lift about to pick up your wife. That's lovely. Let me do this. Again, I'm still new to the whole StreamYard live chat thing. So I apologize for acting like a 70-year-old on here. What about a pickup for a wife? I don't know what that means. Let's do this. Copy. Let's see what that does. And I do reserve the right, even if you're in the studio, to kick you if I don't know you. That's just the type of game that I play, because that's what I do. Yeah, I am back after 2.5 weeks of being away. I was in Tennessee for almost a week and just got back today from Western Maryland after another week. And then I was gone. There were a couple of days within that I was away. So I've only spent one night in this apartment in the last 17 days. So I'm back. I had a butt ton of records at my door, packages, which I might show later if the mood strikes me. I am, in the style of Alex there, drinking a Parkway Brewing Get Bent Mountain IPA. It's one of 2 beers that I had left in my fridge after emptying out everything before I left, because I did not want to come back to smell, moldy broccoli and chicken. But some people like that. I don't care for that. That's free entertainment right there. But this is a really good IPA. Yeah, so very tasty, very summery. And that's all I've got in the fridge, so it's going to have to do. But I hope you all are doing well. I appreciate everybody that watched. The few videos that I posted, all those videos that I've put out in the last 14 days or so were all recorded before my trip. So you might see some of them were recorded the same day. They were set up differently so that certain ones would play by a certain date, because some of those things were time sensitive in terms of the album reviews, a couple of the interviews. The people that I was interviewing wanted them out a certain day to promote a single or a record that was coming out. So I had to move some of my pre-recorded videos around just a little bit. I guess I should do this. Let's do this to make it official. What was it, Sir? And there's Trevor. And there's Trevor. And there's Alex. And then there's me with the link to this humble little stream here. But anyway, I was, very much enjoyed the time away. It's hot. I am not a summer fan by any means. And yet that's when everything happens for, a lot of people. So I get married in 3 weeks and some change. So that's coming up very, very soon. So big happenings here. I've actually left my fiance at her house earlier this evening and then drove back here. I left my car at her house while we were gone with family the last 2 weeks. And she sent me home with a lot of cardboard boxes to fill up with whatever I want. All the stuff in this apartment needs to go. I've got records in front of me here on my TV stand. I've got, books, clothes, dishes, all the stuff that you got to move. I am not looking forward to moving heavy stuff down these stairs. I'll be sweating a lot, but that's no different than, a Sunday morning. So, good trip. Again, 2.5 weeks is a long time to be away from records, to be away from routine. I did work for the majority of those 2 weeks off. I took a couple days off here and there because of certain activities that were going on throughout the week. We did Gatlinburg. So we were in Dollywood. So I took a day off of the theme park. I did all sorts of stuff. The Sunday morning sweats, man. And the funny thing is that's a thing. I don't know. I was sweating a lot this week. What do they say? Sound off in the comments if you're ready for like Halloween. That's what I'm ready for. I know Alex is ready for Halloween. Alex, I am ready for you to come and visit when it's actually cooler so that we can enjoy walking around and not sitting in sweaty Baymont Inns and Suites while we're looking at records that we don't need. I might go to the record store tomorrow here in town. They did a flip video of some new arrivals, and there was some stuff that looked pretty good for me. There's a Tony Rice, Ricky Skaggs record that's kind of rare that I would love to snag tomorrow. Well, do they vote for American popes, Alex? I'll leave it there. But no, the good thing about that is it's about an hour 45 north of me. So there's that, but it's also, you're heading east, and Eastern Virginia, once you start heading into Richmond, Williamsburg, Newport News, all that area, you got some nasty humidity. I mean, we have humidity here, but you move 3-4 hours to the east, you might as well just, wring out your clothes and call it laundry day. You know what I mean? So I'm not looking forward to that. I am looking forward to the music scene for sure. I say all this. Obviously, I am very excited for marriage and all that comes with it. But once I am settled, I am very excited for the music scene where I'm moving. I've got some great record stores that I've already ventured to a few times. Richmond isn't too far away. DC is only a couple hours. Coming back here, it's less than 2 hours. So I'm excited for that. I also know that budgeting will be a big thing. So there'll be a ton of shows that I want to see, but I know that I will not be able to do it. It just will be way too expensive because there are a million shows that I want to see. Brinley, good to see you. I know you always enjoy saying hello there, so it's good to see you. Yeah, so again, gone for a couple weeks. Trying to think of things coming up between now and the middle of July. Obviously, a few details to finalize for the wedding, moving, all that kind of stuff. July 4th is coming up. I have the day off. I don't get every holiday off, but I do get July 4th off. And yeah. You're in South Carolina. Which part of South Carolina? I'm going to guess Myrtle Beach, Dirty Myrtle. I was not in Virginia, believe it or not, Brinley. I was Western Maryland. Almost, really, you could almost call it West Virginia. I mean, you're less than 30 minutes from West Virginia. And then I was in Tennessee in Gatlinburg for the week with my mom's extended family, and then in Maryland with my fiance's family. But thank you very much. Yeah, July 4th, I'm off, long weekend. I'm sure there'll be hot dogs and all that stuff that comes with it. The thing about July 4th, and Alex, you can talk about it in the comments there. I'm not a fan of July 4th food. The two food, again, I have not really talked about music yet in this chat. And I know, and I've seen, Alex, you commented on somebody's video about hot dogs. I can't remember who it was, but there is this place that I go in Marion, Virginia called Dip Dog. I go every time I go to Gatlinburg or to Asheville. And Dip Dog, they use red hot dogs, and they hand dip corn dogs. Really good onion rings. They make their own shakes. It's like a roadside stand. They hand you the brown bag full of onion rings, and the grease is like underneath. It's great stuff. Not good for you at all, but it's great. But if I were to list the two holidays that I just absolutely hate the food, Easter is number one by a landslide, and second is July 4th. Easter, I'm not a fan of the deviled eggs. I'm not a fan of all the salads, like the macaroni salad, the potato salad. I hate that stuff. I don't need that. And July 4th, 9 times out of 10, you're in this picnic shelter in some hot park or somebody's backyard. And, there's flies buzzing around. You've got hot dog buns. You've got hot grills. Like you got the heat from the charcoal searing into your clothes. You got fireworks. There's more heat. You've got greasy hot dogs and burgers, so your fingers turn into, Oscar Myers. It's not for me. And then you have, potato chips. Everybody's reaching their hand into the bowl, and there's grease and there's sweat. And it's just give me a macaroni and cheese dish or, fried chicken or anything. Alex, good and well, you don't want to go to some party in 90 degrees and have baked potatoes and chili, because I've been to a party like that, and believe me, I was disappointed. It was about 95 with a heat index of about 600, and the food of choice was crock pot chili outside in this unshaded park and baked potatoes. I'm like, I need a blow pop and a bomb pop. That I don't want that. I don't want that. It wasn't the 4th. It was a retirement party. One of my uncles, and it was hot, and there were baked potatoes, and I was sweating. Um, nah. Again, it wasn't July 4th. It was a retirement party. But anyway, what was I saying? I don't even know. I was talking about sweating and swelling and 4th of July. But yeah, July 4th, happy birthday, USA. Me. Anyway, I've got a bunch of records that were at my door. I will show you all. I don't know why I'll show you, because I've got little to say about almost all of them. Listen to your melon head. Is that a John Mellencamp joke about ROCK in the USA? Let me back this up. Trevor's talking about German Viennas. Are you talking about some Vienna sausages? Because I could slap those in the can. I also like a good brat. But there's Vienna sausages in the can. There's something about those that I love. You chop those things up, put them in some macaroni and cheese. It's real trashy, but man, is it good. I'm just glad the 4th I am too, man. Again, I've never had the Friday off. It was the 4th off because my previous job was terrible with holidays. We only had three holidays, and one of them was Easter Sunday. I was off on the weekends anyway, so I never got to make up the Easter holiday. So I only had 2 holidays, which were Thanksgiving and Christmas. And if Christmas fell on a weekend, which it did one year, I didn't get Christmas. So my only holiday was Thanksgiving because it was guaranteed to be on a Thursday. And man, was it terrible. It was terrible. So at least with this job, I've got 7 or 8 holidays throughout the year, which is very nice. But yeah, it's cool because July 3rd, I don't know if it is like this in Seattle or Columbus, but a lot of the smaller communities will do fireworks on the 3rd because it ends up being cheaper for those towns to rent those days. And sometimes you get them on the 5th or the weekend, during the weekend, or like, if the 4th is in the middle of the week, you'll get the fireworks on the Saturday, whatever, Friday night. So a lot of times we'll do our July 4th on the 3rd. So I haven't had like a big July 4th on the 4th in a long time because we just do it on the 3rd, and the 4th is kind of its own thing. But anyway, what was I saying? Okay. I got a few records, and by a few, I mean a lot. Let's see here. Okay, the first thing that I got, and there's no, yeah, for you dog people, I know Trevor, you're a dog guy. Alex, you're just a dog. You know what I mean? I know that's frustrating for the pet people, for those fireworks, and for Bubba down the road to light off bottle rockets that wind up in his house. But obviously so let me show you some records here. So we obviously lost Brian Wilson last week. Still a hard blow. It was not a shock. Obviously Brian outlived his 2 brothers. He outlived Dennis, the youngest, by the second youngest, by over 40 years, I think, something like that. And then he outlived Carl by about 25 years. So, I mean, it's really amazing that, Brian, the oldest brother, the most troubled brother of the 3 Wilsons, was the last to die, and died just about a week shy of his 83rd birthday. So Brian lived a good long life, especially considering the pain and the torture that he went through as a individual, with his mental health, with a psychiatrist who was very loony, with just the pressures of the record business, all of that stuff. So We love you, Brian. And anybody that doesn't love Brian Wilson, have a talk with me, please. Yeah, it was it was not unexpected. Still very sad. It still hits me the way that like a death, a celebrity death would hit me. That was shocking. Just because Brian was on that Mount Rushmore for me. He was up there. But anyway, with that being said, Alex there in the comments alerted me that Plaid Room Records, we all love Plaid Room, especially around Record Store Day. Great store, great people to work with. They put back in stock an album that is not in stock that often, and that is the Smile Sessions by the Beach Boys. Now, this is not to be confused with Smile, which was the Brian Wilson record from 2004, I believe, where he really took the concepts that he had been putting together for Smile, which was like the great lost record in music history. He reimagined some of the lyrics to some of the songs. He finished some of the songs. He worked with Van Dyke Parks, the original lyricist, put out Smile in 2004. Flash forward 7 years, 2011, this comes out. It's the Smile Sessions. It's the actual tapes, the finished products that they had in 1966 and 67. And 2-record set. But anyway, Alex alerted me that this was in stock. And when I looked, there were only 10 copies left. So I immediately grabbed one. It was a little pricey, but I'm very happy to have this on vinyl because it's not one that you see that often. But if you want to hear from me, and I told this to Alex, 2 of the best versions, well, really there's 3 great versions of songs on here. Heroes and Villains on here has the great middle part. It's called the Cantina scene, where they get, in the cantina, margarita keeps the spirits high. It's a great addition to Heroes and Villains. I love it a million times better than the Smiley Smile version, which was the record that the Beach Boys put out kind of as like, we didn't give you Smile, but here's a lot of the stuff that we were working on with Smile and some more stuff. So it was nowhere near what it could have been, even though it did have Heroes and Villains on it and Good Vibrations, which was recorded and to be released with this record. Good Vibrations is on this. I love this version too. This is better for me than the single and the album version, because this has this kind of little chant thing at the end where Mike's singing the part, gotta keep those love and good vibrations, that part, and then it kind of fades away, and then they build back up with this like hum-de-da, whoa. It's just this really good. It just adds to it. There's some great, bass harmonica in there from the Wrecking Crew. Very, very good. And so this is an essential to have. It starts with Our Prayer, which is this beautiful a cappella tune. When I saw Brian in 2016, they opened with Our Prayer into Heroes and Villains. I'll never forget it. It was so good. And they go into the song G, which I think was by a group called The Crows. Is that right? Somebody tell me. You doo-wop people. But this also has, Beach Boys classics, Wind Chimes, Veggie Tables, Child is Father of the Man, Wonderful is beautiful, Cabin Essence, Surf's Up. Probably my favorite Brian Wilson vocal. It's definitely my favorite Brian Wilson vocal. I was going to say favorite Beach Boys song. That's inaccurate. God Only Knows is my favorite song of all time. But this Surf's Up is, again, much better, in my opinion, than the record version of Surf's Up from that album, which was, 71 or so, which that just shows this material was still being filtered out 5-6 years after the Beach Boys recorded it. And I think that is just a very, very sad thing for Brian, who at that time in the early 70s was really pretty much immobile from the group. I mean, he was still doing a little bit, but his creative genius was just not there. Carl, by that point, had really taken over, Carl Wilson. And it's interesting, too, this back cover. You have all the guys. You have the touring Beach Boys in 1966. You don't have Brian Wilson in this photo. So You have Bruce, who took over for him in the touring unit, Al, Dennis, Carl, and Mike. And, of course, now of the original Beach Boys, Carl and Dennis have passed. You have Al and Mike and Bruce still holding down the fort. And actually, I think it's Bruce's birthday today, who, say what you will. It's great. We still have him, but him and Mike are their own little unit. But anyway, I got Smile thanks to Alex. And keep your eyes open on Plaid Room Records site. It may make itself known again, especially now that Brian's passed and people are kind of clamoring for this stuff. So that was a long way to show you the very first record out of a lot of records that I had in my door frame there. So anyway, let's see. Great find. Found a boot LP of Smile on Vacation. Yeah, one of the grails is to get the Brian Wilson Smile from 2004. That record is worth a lot of money. So yeah, the Cantina bit is it's so good. It's so good. So now I'm just gonna kind of run through a few that I don't know anything about, and then there's a couple things that I can vaguely talk about, but let's get that person out of there. Hey, Robert S. What's going on? Robert, do you want to come up? Say hello. All of that good stuff. The link is in there. And again, I'm only allowing this link for people that I know personally, that I've talked to on YouTube, on the phone, if I know you, if I truly know you. So I'm sorry that that's the case. I know a lot of people will just let other people on there. I like to be very cautious, but I would love to still talk to you all in the comments. But Robert, if you want to come up just to shoot the breeze for a minute. There you go. So I did pick this up. And then Robert says hello to Brinley. Amazon often has, again, these weird like glitches of records that should not be as cheap as they are, go for super, super cheap. And this was one of them. Psychoderelict by Pete Townsend. This is part of the Abbey Road Half Speed Masters series. Just a really, really great sounding series. I've got all the Who records that have been put out on this series. I have several of the Pete Townsends. I have there are a couple of others. I can't remember which artist I have from this series, but it's always good. Cut by Miles Showell and John Astley, mastered at Abbey Road Studios. But again, I don't know anything about this record other than it's Pete Townsend. I'm kind of being a completist on all this stuff, but I know this is kind of a more spiritual record, if I understand. But again, I don't know anything about it, so you all tell me, how is this record? I believe it came out. It doesn't say. Anyway, that's okay. Pete Townsend. I love Pete, so I'm happy to have it. This is the newest album by Willie Nelson's son, Lucas Nelson. And this is called American Romance. And there's a cool photo of Lucas there. It's kind of a weird cover. It looks very very like AI kind of ish. But I think it's a combination of two different diners, if I remember Lucas saying that right. But it's cool. He's wearing a Willie Nelson hat on here. That's a great photo. I didn't even look at the back. Lucas is just such a great musician. If you don't like Willie and you like just solid songwriting, check out Lucas Nelson. He's just fantastic. He has Sierra Farrell on here. He also has Stephen Wilson Jr. And this is produced by Shooter Jennings, who produces a lot in the alt outlaw country world. His dad was Waylon Jennings, obviously one of the original outlaws in the country music world. He was a highwayman with Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, and Lucas's dad, Willie. So happy to have this. The singles were a little bit slower than some of his other stuff. This is the first album in a while that he's done as just Lukas Nelson. He kind of split from the group Promise of the Real, which was his group for many, many years. And he said this is kind of taking him in a new direction with his music. So I'm very excited to see what becomes of Lukas and his career. He's really gained a lot of respect from a lot of different people. So very happy to have the new one by Lukas. I did not know that was his son-in-law. Yeah, I know he does all the Who stuff, and it's always great. I mean, those are the only copies of those Who records I have, and I wish they would do. I don't think he's done, not the album Who, but whatever the Endless Wire, was that it? The one that came out in 2006. That those last two records have not been done. Who Are You isn't done, if I'm right. If it is, please let me know, because I do want to grab it. But the two records with Kenny Jones were finished, and so were a lot of those early Who records as well. They're all there. So he does a great job. Richard, what is going on? Great to see you. Again, I'm back from 2.5 weeks, though. I tried to make my YouTube channel not show that I was gone for 2.5 weeks, because I recorded a lot of videos that were kind of pre-planned to fall throughout that time. So let me know what you're up to, Richard. And if you would like to come up and say hello, you see the link there. And again, the link is only for people that I know. So, Jimmy Crack Corn from, Oklahoma. I'm sure you're a great guy, but I don't know you, so you can't. Jimmy Crack Corn can't come up here. Hello, Tim. Always good to see you comment. Hope you are well. Just showing some records that I got, and then after that, who knows what I'll do. Missed being around my records, and I'm happy to be home, but also very thankful for a pretty long couple of weeks, even though it wasn't fully vacation mode. It was, it was a good time. Here's the thing, another one of those Amazon kind of glitches. This is Dial S for Sonny Clark with Art Farmer, Curtis Fuller, Hank Mobley, Wilbur Ware, Lewis Hayes. Again, I don't know anything about this. I saw it was very cheap. It is a it was on Blue Note. So very happy to have this. Again, I love this stuff. I know, a little bit about Hank Mobley. I know a little bit about Art Farmer, but not enough. So, but yeah, well, that's fine. You're welcome to watch and see whatever it is I'm talking about, because I don't really know where I'm going with this stream other than just to say hello to the folk out there. But very excited to have this, especially when it's cheap, and it's an easy way to get some jazz. So yeah, know nothing about this. You all let me know about Dial S for Sonny. Next, this is a record that I talk about all the time. Let me pause these meanderings, because in the Peanut Gallery, in the wings, is somebody that we all love, we all know, somebody who went to Costa Rica and made us all wish that we could travel the seas to see parrots and monkeys running around. It is the one, the only, Rob Skure Music, also known as Robert S.
Yes. I didn't want to interrupt your me. Oh, am I? Okay.
No, you're not. I was on mute. Go ahead.
I didn't want to interrupt your meanderings, but
Oh
you
well.
did invite me up, and I said, you know what? I'm house sitting, so I'm not any place where I can show anything, unfortunately. And I was like, well, I got to find a good place to kind of set up my phone. So here I am.
Very happy to see you. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
It has been, yeah. You know, I've been so busy. I went, as you said, I went to Costa Rica. Didn't act my age. I was zip lining and snorkeling and hiking and you name it. And this comes after 45 plus years of inactivity in my life. So
yeah,
when I got back, I realized I had partial tears in both rotator cuffs.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I'm going for physical therapy for that. And about a week and a half ago now, I basically woke up and couldn't move.
Wow.
So yeah, so there's something else going on, and it looks like I may have what they're calling polymyalgia rheumatica.
Okay.
But I'm on steroids right now, so it helps me to move around and do things. So I don't want to come up here with, kind of like doom and gloom and bad news. But I've just been so kind of crazy with things happening.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, some good news. My company is offering a buyout, a voluntary package. So I'm finally retiring.
Oh, well done.
September 5th.
So does that mean, are you able to use any kind of time off to kind of stretch that out so you have a long vacation before?
Well, they're going to be paying us 2 weeks for every year that we're there. So I've only been there 11 and a half years.
Yeah.
So 23 weeks, almost 6 months of pay and some other perks, bonuses and whatnot. So it's all good. I mean, I planned on leaving anyway.
Yeah.
So this kind of comes at a good time.
Yeah. So when is the last official day that you clock in?
September 5th.
That is the last day. Okay.
That's the last day.
So right after Labor Day. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. It coming a little sooner than I had anticipated, but it's all good, particularly given this health issue now that I am having. So
yeah.
Because God knows what the steroids are going to do to my body.
Well, and I mean,
the treatment's about, I should have added, the treatment's about a course of roughly a year.
Okay.
So a year from now, who knows what, I'll probably be a lot heavier and some bone loss and God knows what.
Well, you never know. I mean, things change month to month.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a survivor. I'll get past this.
Yeah, I know you will, but
you know my story, right? I think my health issues.
Yes, yeah, I do.
So this is I'm a cat with 9 lives. This is going to be my 4th one.
Okay, well, yeah, we expect to see you around for like another 70 years. So,
and once I retire, I'll have some more time to actually make some videos for my channel and show some music and talk about things, which would be good.
That'll be really good.
I'm glad to see the direction that your channel has been taking lately. You've had some really wicked cool interviews, and I must say they were very well done. Well, and anyone out there who has not seen those interviews, please go check them out. Tell all your friends about Sam and let them all subscribe to his channel.
Well, I always appreciate you always give very kind compliments, and I take them to heart. And I will say the same for you because, I mean, again, you kind of try to keep things, different. Again, you do some travel log stuff. You go out and about. You go to a lot of concerts. Like you were just at a big 80s review.
Recently. I was at Disco Unlimited. It was a free concert at a local park, Eisenhower Park here on Long Island. And, just reliving my past a little bit. Except no dancing, not in my condition.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I did some videotaping on my phone so I could put a quick video up.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, but I need more like regular music stuff. Thank you,
show.
Starman.
Yeah, Brinley says congrats. Richard S. also gives you his.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tim is getting very close. We'll just think about me, Tim. I probably got another 30. So we'll see.
Well, I should have retired already. I'm well past 65. So
yeah, it all depends. I had a great aunt who was mad when her company told her that she needed to retire, and she was 81 or so. She was still working.
Well, I'm not that old.
yeah. She just wanted to do it to stay busy, and they were like, we need some fresh blood. But good to see you, Steve. Thank you for stopping by.
Next week is my birthday, though, so I celebrate another year older.
The big 5-0, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, sure. Once again,
yeah. You're right.
The big 5-0 for the 18th time.
For the 8th, well, yeah. You just keep a good thing rolling there. Yeah, all of you guys. I get jealous because I think it's it's always very nice. People will say things to me in the comments or whatever it might be. I mean, I've been doing this on YouTube for 5 years, so I started when I was 26. I'm 31 now, and everybody's always saying, you're the young guy with all this, knowledge, blah blah. And I appreciate all the kind words, but it's also when I'm working and I'm looking and I see videos pop up in my notifications of like, you guys going to, not you, because you're just now are retiring, but like, a lot of our friends are out there visiting record stores at, 10 in the morning on a Tuesday. And I'm like, oh man, if only I'm like, I'll get there in 30, 35 years. But in the meantime, all I have to say is the vinyl community, a lot has obviously come from people that are in their retirement years and are thinking like, oh, nobody wants to talk about music. They're making these connections in their retirement. They're able to see, oh, there are people out there that want to talk about music. We can do it in our retirement, make a video twice a day if we want to, and just do it. And I think that's very cool. But again, being one of the younger guys, at least I was, seeing all of that now is like, oh, I get to see all of them enjoy this free time. I'm like, I'm just going to be watching this free time for years and years and years until I finally retire. But
but you are not just YouTube content creator. You're an influencer.
Oh wow!
As
about that.
You were the one who inspired me to create my channel.
Well, I'm very proud of that. That those are very proud achievements. Those little things like that. Whatever, something like that. If somebody types in the comments, "Hey, I bought this record that you mentioned and that nobody's heard of." I mean, I know you're like me. You show records that 200 people have bought. It's like, this record is so good. Like it's a masterpiece, and you get 20 views on it because nobody's heard of it, but you're so passionate about it. It's like, let me show you this record, and I really want you to see it.
Well, speaking of records that I'm really passionate about, you was showing Smile before.
Yeah.
Oh, that I got to tell you, that album that kind of never was might very well be my favorite Beach Boys album.
This particular version of it, the sessions from 2011.
Well, the Beach Boys Smile.
Yeah.
What would have been? Let me put it that way. Right. And there's so many different versions out there and bootlegs and whatnot. But I like every song. The silly ones, Vegetables and the Workshop and whatnot. Wind Chimes, I think, is great. But it's got the classic songs on it, Van Dyke Parks and Brian Wilson. I mean, come on. What a duo, and what fantastic album they came out with,
Yeah.
Not to say anything against Pet Sounds. I love Pet Sounds.
Right.
But I just like the quirkiness of Smile.
And I think for me it helps so much because, again, I'm kind of the mindset with the Beach Boys. It's very similar to my love of the Monkees, where I'm almost a bigger fan of Brian than I am of the Beach Boys. And I mean, like, Brian with his whole process, the same way that I am with Michael Nesmith and the Monkees. Like, I'm a bigger Nesmith fan than a Monkees fan. But, when I
Oh,
was
I know that. I know that.
yeah, that's no surprise for anybody that's watched my channel for 2 minutes.
And which one was it that you still need in case I see it?
Well, it's funny. One of the next records I was about to buy, well, that I was about to show, I finally
Oh,
got Good Times on vinyl.
oh,
Um,
nice.
it had been a lot. I mean, it was full price online still, but again, one of my favorite albums ever. It's my favorite Monkees record.
That
So,
is a good one. That is really good.
very happy to have that. Let me see.
And you showed Lucas Nelson before too.
I
saw
did.
him in concert last year, I think it was.
I would love to
And
see him.
I haven't pulled the trigger on that album yet, but he's like, I can get signed copies. There's autographed.
Yeah. This one's not
Cool.
autographed. No, that was just the Amazon
okay.
black vinyl. It was like $22. So I was like, I'll put the money there.
Okay.
Let me just catch up real quick. Yeah, that is a good point, Brennan. You can kind of shuffle it up, and it still
Right.
sounds great.
Well, that's kind of how we recorded it.
And Scott agrees too. So, the Monkees albums, I have all the classic ones. Again, I'm kind of doing this thing where, I'm not crazy about doubling up on my records. So like, getting 2 copies of a record, unless it's, obviously like stereo mono, I'll go that way.
Okay.
But with the Monkees, because they are so affordable, especially those early ones from the self-titled, all the way up to Changes, it's not too hard to find, those copies in decent shape,
Yes.
for under $20. So, what I want to do is I want to get the original Cold Gems copies. I mean, I have, about half of them. And then also those 80s Rhino reissues that came out because they sound great.
They're really good.
So I have.
And those, like you say, those are pretty easy to find. It's the Nesmith albums that are harder to find.
The Nesmith albums are harder to find. Thankfully, I mean, you filled the void for me on the first National Band stuff. I only had that first Magnetic South, and then you covered up Loose Salute and Nevada Fighter, which is very much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. But yeah, the Monkees albums I don't have on vinyl. I don't, obviously, Justice, which was from the 90s. So I know Friday Music came out with a copy, and I'm hesitant with Friday Music. And then I have a copy of Pull It signed on my wall, but I don't have a playing copy necessarily. Not that I really need a playing copy of Pull It. As everybody knows, well, people that know the Monkees know that album is not exactly their version of Abbey Road. To see Davey, Peter, and Mickey shirtless in a pool with their 80s perms is really quite something.
Exactly.
Yeah, Scott's a Lucas fan. Yeah, I don't have.
Lucas is great. And I'm sorry, I only saw Lucas because I went to see Willie and he was sick. So
that's right. You went last year to the Outlaw Fest.
Yeah, exactly. And Willie wasn't there. Lucas would have been there anyway. But yeah, he filled in and he was fantastic.
Oh, seeing his clips of singing "Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground."
Oh man,
I'm interested to see. Obviously, I want to have Willie as long as possible. He's still putting out really good records. He just put out one about a month ago that's really good, and he does about one a year still, maybe 2 sometimes. But I am curious, the day that Willie is, whether he leaves this earth or just is unable to tour, what Lucas will do to honor his catalog. If he'll do albums of Willie's songs, because his voice is obviously so strong. And he plays the guitar just like his dad. I mean, he can play those same licks like Willie can.
Yes. It was amazing. That was the first time I had seen him in concert, and I was just blown away.
Yeah.
I knew of him. I'd heard some, seen YouTube videos with him playing and whatnot. So I was kind of familiar with him. But seeing him in concert, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. His last album was really good. The last 2 albums were really good. And And I've never heard, an album. I mean, he's got, a couple of songs that I'm not crazy about, but his records are just, he puts some thought into them, and his songwriting is fantastic. He's kind of like, Jacob Dylan with the Wallflowers. He's doing his own thing. He's going to be remembered as Jacob Dylan from the Wallflowers. He's not going to be remembered as Bob Dylan's son.
Right.
And I think Lucas is going to get on the same path of like Lucas Nelson, the singer, who happens to be Willie Nelson's son.
I think you're right. Right.
So
as opposed to like James McCartney, who's,
yeah, God love him.
Always going to be Paul McCartney's son.
Yeah. Although I did see he's doing, he's guesting on Zach Starkey's next album.
Yeah.
With Sean Lennon.
Sean Lennon, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're all kind of in the same. Well, Zach Starkey isn't so much. He's kind of made a name for himself, but he's obviously Ringo's son.
Yeah. Yeah, Sean seems to be doing pretty well as a producer and a writer. I mean, he's obviously done like the Claypool.
The Claypool, Lennon
Delirium.
Yeah, I've got their albums and 10-inch vinyls and whatnot, and it's not something I listen to a lot.
Yeah,
but it's again, it's that type of unusual stuff I seem to adore.
Yeah, to kind of reach for. No, and like you said, Zach's made him. I mean, he played with the Who for about 30 years, and then he was in Oasis before that. Oasis his last few years as their drummer. And it's amazing to think, Zach is 60.
I know. I read that, like when he had the whole thing with the Who,
the controversy.
I was like, holy shit. I won't say it on your channel.
Yeah, well, I know. It's like, oh, I mean, because you think he's from a newer band like Oasis, and then you're like, well, Oasis started over 30 years ago, and he wasn't with them at the beginning, and that makes sense because Noel and Liam are in their 50s, and it's insane.
It still blows my mind. And then you see Ringo out there, like 85, jumping on stage.
Oh my word! And yeah, he was just in Northern Virginia a couple of days ago. I know our buddy Beetle Brad just saw him down in Charlotte.
Oh yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen Ringo once because he's usually about 2 hours ish for me, and that's just a little too far for me to go for Ringo. But one time he did come, here. It was in 2019, and so I saw him with. At that point, he still had what's his name? Greg Rowley on keys from Santana and Journey.
Okay.
So he didn't have. It wasn't like Edgar Winter at that point.
Right.
But then, it was the same other guys he's had with him now for 5 or 6 years.
It's the same. Yeah, he needs to start mixing that up, but I doubt he's going to do it at this point.
Well, it would be interesting, wouldn't it? With Look Up and how that was acclaimed. If he did like an Americana All Stars for a season.
Yeah, that would be fantastic because that's kind of in his wheelhouse.
Well, like that whole Ryman special that he just did. I mean, it's like
exactly. Bring out Molly Tuttle and others.
Yeah, Sierra Hull, Larkin Poe, like all those people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that would give him freedom for he goes town to town. He brings out one big star with for that night, a Billy Strings or a Ricky Skaggs or a Vince Gill or somebody like that. It's like for one show only, they come and do a song or two.
Right.
That would get a big following.
Or really surprise us and have Dolly show up.
Have Dolly show up, yeah.
Or imagine. I don't know what they would sing together, but
I can't hear him singing Jolene with Dolly Parton. His voice is a little low, a little too baritone.
I Will Always Love You.
Oh my word. Yeah. He sings it to Paul. Yeah. No, that would be an idea. Yeah, because I mean it's great. I know
we could dream.
We can dream. I know he had because the other day Colin Hay was sick. I know Robin Zander was there from Cheap Trick. He showed up.
Yeah. Okay.
Stan Lynch, the original Heartbreakers drummer, he was there. I don't know. I didn't see Greg there, Greg Bissonette. So Stan, I think, was filling in for Greg. which would, that would have been awesome. That I'm like, that's what you need to do. Bring in these guys.
Yeah, of course.
But
right, that would be so cool. But something else just occurred to me. We're talking about, these concerts and so on. Once I retire, it may actually happen. You and I may get together to see the Avett Brothers in concert.
That's
together.
right.
We've never met in person, so
we haven't, and that's kind of what we always tease.
I'll have free time.
You will have free time. Yeah, that would be awesome, because I think that would be that'd be obviously like a special thing. Not just it'd be great just to meet up and have like a burger or something, but to actually do something like that would be really, really cool.
Yeah,
and
that'd be awesome.
It's something you've never seen, right? Like you still haven't seen them live.
Yeah, correct.
So,
and I want to in the worst way.
Yeah.
It's just for whatever reason, it just hasn't happened, but I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen after September 5th.
That would be great. I mean, by that point, I'll be settled into married life. I'll be,
that's true. Yes.
So you'll be my new home. Yeah. But no, I'm excited.
Life's going to get in the way. I see it coming. No.
no. She's very supportive of music. We do a lot of shows together ourselves. So, very excited for that. Yeah, and obviously, like, music's gonna be a big part of of the wedding, and like I curated a couple of the playlists that are gonna be played during the like the cocktail hour and then the meal. So dancing, not so much, because if it was up to me for the dance floor, it would be a bunch of sad Tom Waits and John Prine songs, but that wouldn't go over too well with everybody.
No. I don't think the rest of the family would enjoy that as much.
No. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you. Enjoy the show. Alex, pipe down. He knows my thoughts on Friday music. But no, with the Avetts is great. And again, where I'm going to be located, I'm going to be within a 2-hour radius of all of these great shows.
Nice.
So, the music scene is really going to be upped for me when I move here next month. Lots of shows. I won't be too far from Richmond. DC was just a couple hours away. Back here where I am now, it's like an hour 40. So the shows that are here, where I'll be going, like all of these different things, like I'm gonna have to really hold on to the wallet, because I'll be so tempted by so many. Like at that point, I'll be so localized to so many small shows that I'll be like, I normally wouldn't drive for this, but I can drive 30 minutes to this show because I'm here now.
Right. Well, I will come to you. I won't make you come up here to New York.
Well, I will be. I'm going to be in Jersey for Oasis.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that. Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully, our friend Matthew Street will be. He's gonna be seeing them the night after me at MetLife.
Oh, okay.
So he's gonna be staying in New York, and I would love to get up because I haven't met Matt ever, so that would be really cool to see Matt.
Right, you guys are pretty good friends too online.
Yeah, we talk on the phone, and we talk outside of YouTube, and it's great.
Right.
But it would be awesome to meet him, because my fiance is coming too. By that point we'll be about a month into our marriage, and I bought these tickets months ago. So really, I'm the only one that has a ticket right now. So hopefully we don't get, a bad part of town for her to hang out in the hotel, or, whatever she decides to do. But we didn't know that we were going to get engaged by that point.
Right. I think she'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I've never done New York. So, it's Labor Day weekend. So we'll be off that Monday.
Yeah, I've been to MetLife a couple times. That's where I saw Paul McCartney and Elton. No, Elton I saw in Philly. Never mind. God, I can't remember. It sucks getting old.
You go to enough shows, it doesn't matter how old you are.
Be nice if I could remember them, though.
That's true. I'm weird, and I keep a spreadsheet of all the shows that I've seen, just so I can know. While I can still remember all of them, I've got them all down, and now I just put them in one at a time that I buy tickets.
Okay, good thinking.
Yeah, I've got a few lined up for the rest of the year. I'm seeing Costello for the first time in October.
Nice.
He's on like that early songs tour with the Imposters.
Oh yeah.
So
Perfect.
he's focusing on stuff from like start of the career up until about 1980. That's really what he's going to be honing in on.
Yeah, that's a great period.
Yeah, and see, I'm new to Costello because I'm a big Nick Lowe guy, and obviously he has a Costello connection. They're friends,
Of course, yeah.
Producing each other's songs and albums, and obviously, what's so funny about Peace, Love, and Understanding?
That's what I was going to say. What's so funny about Peace, Love, and Understanding? They both got in common.
Yeah, I know they were just up. A place that I talk about a lot is Wolf Trap near DC. I don't know. I think we talked about that once for the Avett Brothers. It was like, hey,
yes.
But Costello was coming as the headliner, and Nick Lowe was the opener. Which I'm like, oh, what a show that would have been! And of course, Nick came out and they did that song together.
Yeah, fantastic.
But look who it is.
Hey, Tim Allen. How are you, Tim?
What's going on, Tim? Yeah. So it's
Tim. I haven't seen Tim in quite a while because just really haven't been around too much.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done any live streams in a while. I use StreamYard, and StreamYard a lot of times freezes on me. I mean, that's what's happened with a couple of those interviews. Is like I have issues. Like right now, it's been fine, and knock on wood, it stays like that.
Right.
So for that Tommy James thing, I had to.
I noticed that you froze at one point, and then you just put him on the screen. But
yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, I need to figure out like an upgrade, especially if I'm going to keep doing these interviews. And I have one interview. I need to email the guy tomorrow that I'm very excited about. I'm not going to say who it is yet because a couple of times it's not falling through because he doesn't want to do it. It's falling through because he's still very busy. But he specifically told me, he said, "Do not forget to email me. I want to do this interview with you." And I'll say he's somebody that you wouldn't know his name necessarily, but he played with one of the biggest groups, one of the biggest American groups ever. So I'm very excited for that prospect of setting up an interview with him.
Well, after watching your interview with Tommy James, I pulled out the Tommy James records and started listening. And I was like, wow,
yeah,
this is some really cool music. I enjoyed it. I was like, wow, Tommy James is, it's not like something I listen to a lot. So when you had that interview, I was like, wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, I forgot some of these hits.
It's amazing. And it's amazing. I mean, you saw the interview, how young. I mean, he said he was 15 when he first recorded Hanky Panky.
Yeah, I know. It was amazing.
And that's like Peter Noon. I mean, with Herman's Hermits, it was the same kind of thing.
Right.
Where, you're thrown out there that early. And so you're still touring. It's amazing to also think like these guys that were touring, with the Beatles at the same time as the Beatles, 64 was Hanky Panky. They're not even 80 yet. And, it's like, you're still a young guy, doing hits that's how it is with like Stevie Wonder. Stevie had that.
Oh yeah. He was like 13.
Fingertips. Yeah. When he was 13 as little Stevie.
Yeah.
And he's had a career longer than McCartney, and he's younger than McCartney by quite a few years. But yeah, I mean, I'm very humble that these people are willing to talk with me, because I mean, I don't have a large channel. I don't, I'm not. I mean, you kind of mentioned influencer, which is very kind, but like I'm not. Some of these people that are on YouTube that obviously are being seen by the big wigs, in the music world, and I mean, this is kind of like the new form of radio for music. I mean, this is how a lot of this information gets out, is on YouTube. I mean, you used to have promotion copies sent to the record stations, but now record
That's
stations don't need that because they play, they play the MP3 files, or they have to play the playlist that's made by the big corporation.
Exactly.
So if somebody wants, like, I don't know, like for example, like I got one of the records I picked up was this jazz record by a guy named Calvin Keys. This is brand new Real Gone music, who a lot of people know Real Gone. It's a really great company. I know Stephen Schnee is a big Real Gone fan with their Christmas CDs. But
yes,
they will look a million times at a YouTube channel first over, some random small town jazz, show.
sure.
Because this stuff isn't going to be played online. I mean, played on radio stations.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're going to send. Yeah, they'll send the promos to the big channels because they're like the big radio shows now. I mean, that's
right. But you need to kind of have that focus.
Yeah.
If you're a Beatles-centric channel, you may get Beatles things. If you're, Monkeys,
right.
maybe get Monkeys or whatever. But I don't think there are too many people doing, obscure music and getting any kind of reward for it.
Right. And again, me and you, I would say if you're, you're probably like me, and genres don't mean a whole lot anymore because music is music. Because you have, like somebody like Rod Stewart's always a great example because Rod, obviously started kind of like the blues kind of, garagey rock with like the Faces and all that.
Right. Exactly.
And then did the Standards albums for, a decade and a half. So it's like, you can't call those rock albums because they're not.
No,
so
not much.
It's just good music. It's just Rod Stewart's this great singer that can sing rock and jazz.
Right. Exactly.
I
mean, you're not gonna compare any of his earlier stuff and Do You Think I'm Sexy than anything from the American, standard songbook.
Right. And that's the whole argument
different.
About, like we've seen a million YouTube videos that people show like how they've organized their records. It's very hard to do it by genre because, you can,
I would never attempt to try to do that.
But people do, is the funny thing.
I know they do, and it always blows my mind. Like, why?
I don't know. I don't get it. I'm seeing a couple of friends out there, and again, I will say if you're somebody I know Tim, I know Richard, I know Tom.
Hey, Tom.
I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to come up, like I said when I first came up, I probably can't stay on too long, but.
No, I've been loving this.
Okay, I was gonna say I hope I haven't worn out my welcome already.
No, because I had no plan going into this. Again, I just got home from my 2.5 weeks away.
Okay, and I'm not even home.
Right? Yeah, I was only here for 20 or 30 minutes.
I'm house sitting and rabbit sitting, honestly.
Oh, are you?
I'm watching a rabbit in somebody's home. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I can't say I've ever done that, but good idea.
so I don't have to worry about any barking or anything like that,
No, no barking.
Rabbit's behind me in the cage and over there. So
yeah, just make sure you don't have 2 rabbits, then you might end up with 100 rabbits, and you might have to ditch the house. But no, I mean all I have to say is, I think you and I, if we were to define, the vinyl, the music community or whatever, you and I say would fall in kind of the same grouping of we just want to show music that we love. I mean, we're not, like I love Tom Petty, I love Dylan, all that good stuff, but I don't think I would enjoy myself if I just became a Tom Petty or Bob Dylan, channel.
Right.
So like,
exactly.
I'm going to show this, weird spiritual funky jazz next to, the Monkees or, Glenn Campbell. I'm going to do that. And
right. And I'm glad you do.
Yeah.
I like it, honestly.
Yeah. And I like it with you. I mean, when your finds just blow my mind, you go from, obviously, like, you like your, Beatles and power pop stuff, but then you'll jump into just like a random, comp of, you know,
Yeah.
reggae music, and it's like,
Well,
okay, wow.
yeah. Well, like similar along the lines of what you might do, bluegrass. All of a sudden, like
Yeah.
it's like, wait a minute, you got the Beatles, you got the Stones, you picked up Bob Dylan or something, and then what? Bluegrass?
Right. Yeah, you
Native
can't.
American music? What?
Right. And people, sometimes people will latch on, and I think it's really, cool. Again, and I know you do too, when people comment, and that's one of the highest compliments I can get on YouTube is that, I've had several people. I mean, Tom. I mean, I'll throw Tom on the spotlight here with the Avett brothers. I mean, I think
Oh, yeah, right.
we were talking about it. He mentioned you as well. I think in a video that I was commenting on. And I know Tom's a big fan of No Hard Feelings by the Avett brothers.
Yes.
And
Great
he was
song.
like, Robert and Sam have been like throwing it down my throat, like, listen to the Avett brothers. And he did. And he's like, yeah, like, I love it. And, he would go see them. And I think that's really cool. And that's always just like, oh, great. These guys that are, a lot of times older than me, I show them music, and, they're saying, that's so great.
Right. Well, it is kind of nice because, I'll do these short videos about, and I do a variety of things where I might talk about an artist, but I also do song spotlights or whatever, or 45s where I play both the A and B side.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I'll get somebody comment and it'll be like, oh, I always love this. I'm glad you put this up here, and bring back my childhood memories and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, you know what? That's great.
Yeah.
It's only one person, but it's enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it takes. It's like, great. I connected with one person and was able to, for whatever brief moment, give them some joy in their lives.
Right. And I think even like, a lot of these like big time artists would say the same thing. Like they can spot somebody in a crowd and say like, they're the one person I locked eyes with in that one song, and that's what mattered. But I will pause the conversation because we have in the wings somebody that may or may not have been in Costa Rica. We don't know. If he was there, maybe he's not allowed to tell us why he was there. The one, the only, Tom Hunyadi.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, good to see you guys.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
So speaking of the Avett brothers, so I just saw Bob Dylan this past Friday, and he was part of the Outlaw Festival, and the Avett brothers were a part of it too, but on certain dates. So I was kind of really hoping that they would be, in Michigan when I was there. But I got to tell you, Nathaniel Rateliff, or however you pronounce his last name, holy shit, this guy put on a show. Oh my God.
Yes.
I only knew that one. I only knew one song from him. Son of a bitch, give me a drink. That song.
Great song.
Yeah. And he played it, which was great. But I mean, the whole set. I mean, he was the most electrifying thing. He did. I mean, he outplayed Dylan and Willie, but we knew he was going to anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
But oh man, so now I got him on my radar. For
that's great.
So I'm going to be picking up his stuff now.
Outlaw doesn't come my way until August.
What's that?
But the Outlaw concert doesn't come my way until August.
Okay, well, and that's the great. I mean, but Dylan did some great stuff, and then I just found out just yesterday he did Times They're Changing. Which he didn't do. He didn't do for my set, which fine, but it was still a really good set. He got to serve somebody, which was really cool to see. He did All Along the Watchtower, which I hadn't seen him because I had just seen him like 3 months ago too, for his continuous Rough and Rowdy Ways tour. Which he did. He did every track on the album except for Murder Most Foul. So. But Dylan, I mean, I knew what to expect when I saw him a couple months ago. I knew his voice wasn't crazy, and I knew he was just going to do
you
stuff from
right with low expectations.
Yeah, I knew what to expect, and then and I'm fine with it. I just thought it was just so cool. I thought these last two shows from Dylan were incredible, and I'm just going to keep seeing them. I'm going to keep seeing them.
Yeah.
Well, let me welcome our latest guest down below me here.
Hey, Tim.
Bobby Brady, also known as Tim Allen.
Hey, Sam.
It's been a long time,
Tim.
Never actually
talked, so great. And hey, Robert. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tim.
Good to see you, Tim.
This is a good group here.
So my next scheduled concert is actually Cyndi Lauper.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, I thought she was done by now. That's great.
I thought so too. And then I saw her. She's going to be at Jones Beach. And I was like, okay, I'm there.
This is your farewell tour.
It's your
so
farewell,
I thought it was already over.
Yeah.
So
right.
Great. She could still sing too. You should have a ball.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Excellent.
Is she the only one on the bill, Robert?
I'm sorry?
Is she the only one on the bill?
No, there is somebody else whose name is escaping me. Somebody who's not well known.
Nobody, okay.
No, like the last one I saw was Simple Minds, and they had Modern English and Soft Cell.
Oh,
Modern English sounded great in the clip.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
I think our buddy Alan C. Records, he also saw the same tour. I don't know if it was the same place that you were, Robert. I know he's up there in Jersey.
Yeah, probably not. He's in Jersey, but I doubt he traveled to Jones Beach in Long Island for that.
I'll also say, Richard, you are very kind to consider this a beard. That's very, very kind. Whatever you say.
Hair. 4 guys with facial hair. How about that?
And three who actually have hair.
And then Sam, I'm also I just put Van Morrison's new album on my I just put it in my cart on Amazon too. I tried to get it today, but the record store I was at didn't have it on CD. So looking forward to hearing that too, because I know you're a Van Morrison fan as well.
Yeah, I'm a diehard. And I ordered the CD too. And because I've had my mail on hold for like 2.5 weeks, so I should be getting mail tomorrow. So hopefully it's thrown in there.
Nice.
So question for you: what? And I feel like I know this and I've forgotten it. What is your favorite Van Morrison album?
See, it for a long time. It was the standard. Well, it was Astro Weeks.
Astro Week. Okay,
was my favorite. Moondance is the one, and I've heard a lot of people say Moondance is the one. If I have people over, that's what you put on.
That's like the most approachable Van Morrison album, I think.
Right.
Or accessible, or whatever, however you want to say it.
I'm a big fan of Tupelo Honey as a record.
Yes.
And actually, that's one of the songs on our when I'm married. That's on one of our playlists that I put together. So, but Tupelo Honey's up there. I also really like Beautiful Vision from the '80s, which is one of the.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that too. But my favorite is Poetic Champions Compose.
Interesting.
I've got that. Yeah, I got that one. I've only listened to it once. I need to keep listening to that.
That is such a great album.
Cool.
Tom, I'm curious. Are you outside there, or are you running away from somebody? What's going on?
Oh yeah, no, I'm outside. Yeah, in the back patio, just enjoying a few beers. After work. So.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, you may have missed it earlier. I'm actually house and rabbit sitting.
Oh, good. Oh wow, you're having fun.
Yeah, I'm not even at home.
You're not even at home. Yeah. Well, make sure they don't make any more rabbits.
That's what I told them.
Exactly. That's exactly. There's only one here. There's only one.
Unless they pay you by the rabbit, in which case,
he's a lion head rabbit. I don't know if you've ever seen any of them.
Gotcha. And I was a little disappointed with I was a little disappointed with the new Neil Young record, Talking to Trees. I don't know if you guys heard it yet or not, but
no,
it's a little disappointing.
Yeah. He's a hard one to keep up with.
Yeah, Neil's coming to town. I'm going to be looking to get tickets for that concert as well. Although I saw him
Okay.
last year, but
Yeah, so did I. Yeah. Yep.
Is
Put on a good
that
show.
is it Crazy
Yeah.
Horse that is he
So-
still touring with Crazy
No,
Horse?
no. He's
No.
got a new band now that I'm forgetting the name of off the top of my head.
Is it
So
Chrome Hearts? Chrome
Yeah.
Hearts?
yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And him and Van Morrison are playing a set together here soon. And
Yeah.
and Belfast. I mean, what a show that would be. Oh.
I know. But
The
Tim,
other thing
Tim,
I
what's going on in your world, Tim?
Nothing. I'm not like Tom. Nobody's ever seen me any place but right here. Steven Spiegel goes outside way more than I do. I got nothing going on, unfortunately.
well, I mentioned earlier too. I'm actually going to be retiring. Whoops, we lost Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be retiring September 5th.
Oh wow!
Finally,
Well,
it's a long time coming.
congratulations, I
So
guess.
I'll have some free time to do things again. I hope.
Some more of those VC meetups like you were talking about earlier.
From your videos, Robert, I think you've been doing a lot lately.
Well, you know what it is? I do things and I record it on my phone while I'm doing it so that I can just quickly upload. But I don't have like editing software and stuff. I kind of throw things together. These videos that I take and.
No, but I mean your trips and stuff. You've
Yeah,
been,
I know. I went
places
Costa Rica and then I went to the Bahamas.
Oh yeah.
But I was saying to Sam, I came back from Costa Rica after doing, after like 45, 46 or more years of inactivity, I decided I'd go to Costa Rica and I would do zip lining and scuba diving, snorkeling, hiking, and all kinds of fun stuff. And it was really fun. And then, of course, I got home and I have partial tears, rotated cuff tears on both shoulders.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And and so
on the bright side, it looks like you got some good sun.
Yeah. But I'm going for physical therapy for that. But then I also had another medical issue that came up. And at first they thought it might be rheumatoid arthritis, but they've been testing me for different things. And it looks like now I have polymyalgia rheumatica, which is similar, but it's treatable with steroids for about a year. So
okay.
I started that like last week or a week and a half ago. So
you're gonna be
it's a good time for me to retire.
Gonna be looking
Focus
like
on
Arnold
myself.
Schwarzenegger here pretty soon, then, huh?
Yeah, really. Like oh heck, yeah. What's that? I was trying to think. What the hell's his name now? The baseball. Mark McGuire.
Mark McGuire. Mark McGuire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw. I'm not a big sports guy, but I saw Sammy Sosa with the Orioles about a year or two before he really got cracked down on with all of his stuff.
Yeah. Back when he was a thin guy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was in that whole grouping of people that were like.
I remember it well. He was in front of Congress he was in front of Congress with Mark McGuire and Rafael Palmeiro and a couple other guys. Yeah.
Richard, thank you. We'll see you later.
So long.
Yeah. No, Tom, I'm interested. You said not to make this into a what are you drinking stream, but what is the beer of choice this evening?
Well, I decided to go cheap tonight, and I'm just drinking the champagne beers here of Miller Lite, or Miller High Life, I should say.
Only the best Hunyadi household.
Yeah. It's when I Sam Adams is my brand. I mean, that's what I normally drink. But when I go cheap, it's usually a Miller product.
You and me both, Tom.
I think you were on earlier, Tom, commenting when Robert and I had a great marketing ploy for Ringo
No,
about
I didn't see that. What's that?
because we have you know, our resident Beatle man, on the stream. We're thinking with, obviously, you know, he's had the same group of guys pretty much for the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And how the other night, Colin Hay was sick, so Robin Zander showed up from Cheap Trick.
Oh, okay.
And Stan Lynch from the Heartbreakers was playing for Greg, I think, on the drums. But with the whole, you know, Look Up project that everybody, you know, clamored over back in January, why can't Ringo do one tour with like the big name Americana people and like really push that out?
Yeah, it's a countryside.
Well, because I don't think he's confident enough in himself to go out on tour just to do his own stuff. You know, and I think that's one of the selling points of his tour of the All-Star Band is you're not only seeing Ringo, but you're seeing all these other great artists as well. You know, so I kind of feel that's the reason. But I mean, it would only like maybe he does a week at the Ryman. You know, that's the only way I would see him doing something like that, like you're suggesting.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately.
That makes sense because, I mean, everybody knows. I mean, a lot of times, I mean, these days he's getting a lot of these, you know, 1, 2, 3 hit wonders, you know, as much as we hate to say it. You know, Colin Hay is much more than that. Obviously, I love some of his solo stuff, but the public
he's a 4-hit wonder. Okay.
Right. But he doesn't play all 4 hits, so it's, you know, the same stuff over and over.
And you have Luke, who's just doing, you know, he's doing the couple of Toto songs, but he didn't even really sing.
No, he didn't originally sing. Yeah, exactly. He didn't originally sing. I mean, he could sing some of the stuff that he sang, like 99 or 99. Is that the one of the songs that he sang that was a hit? There's a couple hits that he sang that he could be singing. But then again, you know, Africa is such a beloved, and Rosanna, those two are like the big, most beloved, photo songs.
And that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
Which I guess, to be fair, he did technically sing on Rosanna, like that first section on the original recording.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, and then, you know, Hamish is obviously a great musician. He toured with Paul and everything, but, you know, we don't need to hear picking up the pieces.
No, I mean, this is like look, Hamish has been in the business for a long, long time. However, you know, what's the name of the band? You know, the Average White Band. I mean, that's kind of like scraping the barrel of people that you can pick for your all-star band. No offense to him. I mean, he's a fantastic musician, you know, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. And I mean, do we really want?
And you're almost to the point, Sam. To nowadays, it's like, you know, who else can you get?
Yeah.
You know. I mean, look. I mean, guess who are trying to make a comeback? I mean, I know the two main people are going to be doing a little tour here soon.
Burton
Cummings and Burton Cummings and Bach. Yeah. Randy Bachman. Yeah, I mean, if you could go out on your own, you know, why go out with Ringo and only do, you know, 2 or 3 songs?
Right, and you know, back in the day, obviously, you know, this has been taught to death, but he would need to be pulling now people, you know, like Cyndi Lauper, like he'd be pulling from the '80s catalog,
right,
yeah,
him or you know somebody like, I don't know, Bryan Adams. But like Bryan Adams, I mean, he can still fill out, you know, a big stadium on his own.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing, though. That's the thing. He can still sell out arenas, or theaters. So why do that?
Bill.
I mean, just so you can say that I toured with a Beatle. You know.
Yeah. You're right, Tom. Back when he started, you know, and he had got people like Todd Rundgren who nobody cared about then, and Eric Carmen, and I'm trying to think some of the other people that were in the, you know, nobody cared then.
Right.
You know, now they care. Now if you got those people, they show up. But back then they didn't.
Right.
Oh,
true.
I mean, exactly. You're getting people that have had like, okay, Gary Brucker, I'm so glad that was the first time that I went to a Ringo show was with Gary Brucker, and seeing Whiter Shade of Pale was just like an absolute, dream come true. However, who knew about him at that point in time, in 2000, who, let's be honest. I mean, who even really knows about Ian Hunter, when he went out with, Ringo at this point in time, he's going to go out there and sing all the young dudes, which is, the only song they're really known for.
Yeah.
But to your point, though, getting to the 80s, it's like, okay, who are some good 80s, people that would, I Ain't Missing You guy, what's his name?
They're actually musicians, though, but a lot of them, like John Waits, I think he's an art player, but he's not a great musician.
Right, he's not a great musician.
He's not a great musician. She's a great singer, but she's not, that's the other problem.
You could get Rick Springfield is a pretty decent guitar player. Like, he's somebody that I can see.
Now there you go. Now that's an interesting pick. But he's kind of having a renaissance right now.
He was just here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, right. That would be a kind of good pick, because not only can they can do guitar, but he's got 3-4 hits that people would know.
Right.
Sure.
I'm seeing a topic
which
here.
is exactly what you need in the all-star band.
Right. Exactly.
Right. I mean, you could even get like just as a musician, somebody that's like not doing a whole lot, like a Stuart Copeland or an Andy Summers.
Joe Jackson played piano, get him on keyboards. He could be like the band. He could be the band leader. In a way.
He's still touring and doing quite well. So again,
Well, that's just the thing. I mean, would you rather go out on your own, or would you, go out for 2 months and say that you got to tour with a Beatle?
Well, right.
Because when you go out and tour with the Beatle, it's the Beatles way or it's no way. I mean, Peter Cetera learned that. Because Peter Cetera was tapped to do a tour with Ringo, which I would have loved. I mean, I'm a huge Peter Cetera fan. However, I'm sure he. Don't worry, the light just went out. But I mean, if I was Peter Cetera and I had all those stinking hits, I think to myself, I would rather be going out on my own than touring with Ringo.
Right.
No offense to Ringo.
Right.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. There's no need for him to share the spotlight.
Right. Yeah, because again, you're going out to support Ringo. I mean, you're gonna get your 2 or 3, 3-4 songs, and Peter Cetera will probably demand 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah.
On top of that, he's a fantastic bass player.
Right.
That
would cover that.
Yeah. But like to your point, the Stewart, the guys from Police, I mean, either it's the drummer or the guitar player. But then again, the drummer, the drummer, what's his name? Stewart from
Stuart Copeland.
Yeah.
Stuart Copeland.
He could be like the drummer now, give him a break.
Yeah, take Greg out.
Bassinet or whatever his name is.
Greg.
Yeah, Greg. Yeah. So Bassinet. Yeah, thank you. So, and he's not doing, he's not singing any songs, so.
Not a singer.
Yeah. And normally, go ahead.
Did Nile Rodgers ever tour with Ringo?
I think it was the first one, wasn't it?
Was Nile on there? No, I would not Nils Lofgren, Nile Rodgers from
Chic.
Chic.
Okay, yeah. No. That would be a fantastic pick too.
Because that way they could do like, Good Times. I mean, they pick up the pieces now, so that wouldn't be too far of a stretch.
Right.
Stuff like that. And have Nile just out there.
Yeah, interesting topic.
Pick. Yeah.
It's a very interesting topic. It's, it could be a long form video. I mean, I'm not qualified to talk about it, but
Oh yeah, you are. Come on. You know enough music.
Yeah, you do.
Come on.
It would have been cool. I know he had. I mean, everybody. For me, being a big Zombies fan, I mean, it was awesome that he had Rod Argent. For a couple of years. That would have been.
Yeah,
cool.
I would have liked to have that. I would have liked to have seen that tour. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Rod's retired now with his stroke that he had, but stuff like that.
You can still buy the records.
All of those names that we mentioned, I mean, could easily fill in for these guys. I mean, I love Luke. Lukather is a great guy. He seems like a really nice guy. He obviously is very close with Ringo, and Ringo, like you said, probably looks at these guys as like a safety net.
Definitely.
Especially him, especially Hamish now, and Greg. Like those are like the three guys that have really stuck with him for a long.
They've been with him for a long time now.
And obviously Hamish has the McCartney connection, so it's interesting that I mean, again, Ringo's almost 85, so why does in his mind he's probably like, why do I need to learn new songs?
Well, I mean, if he's only going to do like, let's say, like do a right, if he's only going to do like a month, in the first half of the year, and then a month in the second half of the year,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting if he did like say like I don't know. Who else would you pick in the 80s? Like, well, he had Howard Johnson on, right? Howard Johnson was a member of the band, I think.
Howard Jones?
No, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, Howard Jones. Yeah, okay. I think he was a member.
Howard Johnson.
No, yeah, that's the hotel chain, right? That's
yeah.
But yeah, I think Howard Jones was on there.
I mean, I think about
the guy from Mr. Mister has been on there a few times too. Was on there, for a few tours.
I mean, even some of these guys that are retiring. I mean, like just to like fill out the band. I mean, I know we've got a few Elton John fans here. Like someone like Davy Johnstone, like on guitar. Like Elton's retired. Just have Davy out there. He's not going to sing Elton John songs, but he would be a solid fill in for Steve Lukather.
Right, but what is he going to sing? I mean, he would want somebody. He would want that. Yeah, he wants people that are going to fill. I don't, and that's the thing is I don't ever see a time. Even that show at the Ryman, the 2 days at the Ryman where he did earlier this year, he didn't sing every song.
No, and even the songs that he normally sings, he gave them to other people, like What Goes On and stuff like that.
True, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's great to see Molly Tuttle.
Yeah, Molly Tuttle.
Yeah. Molly Tuttle. Fantastic. I was so glad I got to see her at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
Fantastic show.
She's great.
Yeah.
I'm scanning over my records now trying to figure out names.
You know who else I was supposed to see in concert? I just realized now. Billy Joel and Rod Stewart in Yankee Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Not going to happen now.
It got canceled.
No.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite, Rod was one of my favorite concerts that I went to, but he did, he played a joke on everybody. He had the band start playing Do You Think I'm Sexy? And it got to the point where the vocals came in, and then he goes, "Oh, no, we don't do that song anymore." And then
and he doesn't.
No. I was like, damn it. Because I love that song.
Yeah. Well, that's not that this would mean anything to, it might. I don't know how familiar you are with Doc Watson, but he's one of my dad's favorites. And his big song was Tennessee Stud about the horse. And my dad saw him, and some guy was yelling, Tennessee Stud, Doc. And Doc said, "Oh no, we're not doing that one tonight," and he didn't play it. And it was like, all right, let him do what he wants to do.
I mean, you could even, one band that I absolutely love and one band that I can't stand. I mean, you could have Gene Simmons. You could have Gene Simmons, play bass, and he's got plenty of songs, and then you could have, Mickey Dolenz on drums for one tour, and he's still a fine singer, and he could do a couple songs.
I bet Gene wouldn't do it, but I bet you they could pay Ace to come out there.
Maybe.
I bet you would do it. Because he's still very active.
Yes. Yeah. He's still pretty active.
That would draw a different crowd.
These days.
What's that, Tim?
I think Mickey's too frail to do drums these days.
Yeah, but he's going out on tour. He just announced a tour.
Yeah, but he sits on a stool for most of the time.
Yeah, he just sings now.
He just goes up front.
Okay. Yeah.
He's more of a
all right.
front.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Fairly frail these
days. You got a point there.
Somebody else for Ringo again, because I've got Beach Boys on the mind. He could get like Blondie Chaplin out there, because that dude he can wail on a lead guitar. You know, he obviously did Sail on Sailor. When I saw him with Brian Wilson, he did Wild Honey. He was singing that song.
What about Peter?
Yeah, I mean, I still like your first idea, Stuart. Because he's a Beatles disciple. I mean, he's a Beatle fan. You know.
Oh yeah.
Or I should say, he's a Ringo disciple too. You know. So.
Yeah, Matt here is mentioning. I know Brian's last tour, to keep talking about Brian Wilson, was 2022, right? And I've seen clips, and it is. I remember watching it back then and thinking like, oh, I hope somebody's not forcing that to to be the case, because I saw Brian in 16 on the Pet Sounds tour with Blondie and Al Jardine, and it was great.
He was. I think he was different in 16 than he was in.
Very different. I
mean, his last couple of tours, he just sat behind his piano, said thank you once in a while, and that's about it. He didn't sing. He didn't play. You know, a couple tours before that, he would play keyboards on one song and sing some of the songs.
Yeah,
but just some, and before that he was doing everything. But
now that Hall & Oates aren't an item anymore, you can get one of those two guys out there.
Daryl Hall could play keys for sure.
Sure.
Yeah,
that would be very interesting, Tom.
Yeah,
because they're both very active. So I saw John Oates last year. I saw Daryl Hall a couple years before, and they're both very happy with what they're doing. So those guys would be great. I mean, the possibilities are out there. It's just, at this point, would Ringo
at this point he's just comfortable with what he's got right now.
He's not going to change, but
it's kind of like
it's fun to imagine what could be.
I think I can't remember who had put something up. It might have been Brad. It might have been Marv. Beatle Vinyl 85. That Ringo is still, he's still doing, the stage act that he's been doing for years, like where he's like, we should play. I'm going to tell Steve whatever he wants to play, he can play. And he plays Day Tripper, and it's like,
they may as well just bring the screen down, play a film of the last couple concerts. It's identical. It's pretty much identical.
Yeah, but
the only time it changes is when Ringo trips, a little bit.
Wow, Robert.
I'm not. Yeah, after I'll tell you what, I probably won't see Ringo again unless he made some significant changes to the All-Star Band.
You got to see him recently with the Look Up. So right.
Yeah. But I also
he's doing No song again. He didn't do No song last year.
But the first time I saw him,
74 in his repertoire. He was chopping at 73. He's out of the year.
Right. The first time I saw him, he did do the No song. So I was very fortunate there. But
but I only saw him one time. Again, I mentioned it to Robert earlier because he's usually about 2 hours from me, and I'm never wanting to drive 2 hours for Ringo. I would for Paul, and have done it for Paul. I've driven 3 hours for Paul, but I was very happy when I saw Ringo that he did You're 16, which a lot of people were kind of like, oh, that's kind of a weird song to sing, but but he did that
cringy these days.
He still wasn't doing Octopus's Garden. I know that was a big deal a couple of years ago when he was doing that, and Yellow Submarine. Because his whole thing was like, I don't want to be underwater the whole show, or whatever he said. But I'm like, you've got like 8 or 9 Beatles songs, like just sing all of those, and then but I was happy. I mean, I like You're 16. I mean, I think it's really a fun song, but
It is.
No would be awesome. I want to say he did I'm the Greatest in 2019.
Really?
He
But
pretty much always does. I'd be surprised if he didn't. He
Yeah.
pretty much always does that one.
but again, I was happy to see Greg Rowley do Oye Como Va and the Santana
Yeah.
stuff.
So
Oh, yeah.
I got to work 2 Ringo shows.
Mm,
No, wait.
yeah.
No, I worked 1 Ringo show, and Greg Rowley was part of the band, so I got to talk to him. I got to talk to the Mr. guy,
Yeah.
and Todd Rundgren as well.
Oh, cool.
So that was a pretty cool day right there.
Nice.
That's a really cool day.
So
Yeah.
Mike McDonald.
Oh my, yeah, Michael McDonald. That would be
any of the Doobie
Yeah.
Brothers guys. You could get
Yeah.
Tom Johnson out there.
They're on tour. They're going to be on tour again.
They're on
not.
tour.
Yeah.
They're back
Yeah.
together. They're getting the album out. They're touring. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently their new album is
Yeah.
actually pretty good. The Doobie Brothers, the recent one.
Yeah.
Mm.
No
The only,
comment.
the only thing I've been listening to lately is the more recent Elton John albums. Because all my life I favored, the 70s stuff that I grew up with and have fond memories of. And while I like a lot of his later albums, I find I don't listen to them that much. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start listening to this, and I'm going to put
This
on
new one.
Made in England
This new
and-
one is fantastic. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
the new one.
I'm
Yeah,
trying.
Brandy
to
Carlisle.
like
Brandy,
Carlisle.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that too.
it.
Yeah, that's
it's,
really
still,
good.
it's too much of a modern pop album for me. I'm trying to like it.
I mean, that's a fair assessment. But I think Brandy really brings, some life, into this new album, and
she
it's
brought, like-
and it's Andrew Watts, the producer, which he did a fantastic job with the last Rolling Stones album, and it's just
Yeah.
getting me more excited for the new Paul album because he's producing the new Paul album too.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, and Brandy did a lot with Tanya Tucker as well.
Yeah.
Tanya is one of my favorite country artists. I've got everything she's done. And I know a lot of people don't like her for whatever reason, personality or whatever.
Yeah.
But I love Tanya Tucker and have since she's 13 years old and I was 14 or something.
Yeah.
No, seriously. I remember seeing her on TV. She was with Conway Twitty and being just amazed by her singing.
Yeah.
And the vibrato and like from day one, from the minute I saw her, I was like, okay, I love this singer. But Brandy Carlisle did an amazing job on with Tanya Tucker, and she did an amazing job with Elton as well.
Yeah.
I'm not as familiar with the latter Elton stuff, but I've heard time and time again that I really need to get the record that he did with Leon Russell. I've heard that's really
The Union's a good one. Yeah,
the Union.
The Union.
But like,
I kind of like the Captain and the Kid, which was the kind of like the sequel to Captain.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Postcards from Richard Nixon and
Yeah.
The Bridge was a single off of that, and I think it was probably a mistake. Old 67's a great song
Yeah.
on that album.
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah, I
diving
enjoyed that
board was highly acclaimed too.
The Diving Board is good. I was actually listening to that earlier today while I was working.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thankfully, I
Cool.
work on a computer, so I can just play music
Yeah.
while I'm
That's me. I
working.
work from home all day long, 5 days a week, and so I'm getting up and down all day long, putting records on.
Well, I used to work
You
from home
guys
5
that
days
get
a
to
week.
stay home all day,
Yeah. Well, my company on April 1st made us come back 2 days a week.
Oh, really?
So I go to the office 2
Yeah.
days a week now, Mondays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, I tease my brother too because he's been working at home for like the last 20 years. Now his job finally wants him back at the office, and I was like, "Oh, cry me a river. Get your ass back to the office."
Well, I'm taking the package, so I'm retiring. So
Yeah, do it, Robert. Get out of there.
yeah, the package has a separation date of September 5th. On September 8th, they're making people come back to the office 3 days a week.
Oh
And
wow!
by the 1st, it looks like it might be 4 days.
Jeez.
So getting out just in time.
Just in time. Good for you, buddy.
Yep. Congrats.
You,
Tom,
yeah.
I need to ask you, Tom. I know, like obviously, like the big talk with the Beatles, mono set and everything, and I had, 'cause I wasn't around collecting records when the first set came out, 10 years ago, and so like I had the new one in my cart. I kept debating and debating. I'm like, that's a lot of money to put down at one
It is.
time.
Yeah.
I think because like it was different state to state. I have a buddy in Ohio. His was a different price than mine here in Virginia.
Right.
I mean, it was going to be, right about $600. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm about to get married. I don't know that that's
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. I have it on CD, so I'm fine. But
Yeah.
one thing you should consider. Okay, not every distributor offers this, but some will offer this thing called a firm. Okay, which I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's just like a credit thing where you can pay every other week or once a month or something like that for these bigger items like that. I mean, that's how I ended up getting the Paul McCartney suitcase, the Egypt Station suitcase, was because of this thing called a firm, and I just paid up, and that's a matter of fact how I got the Outlaw Festival tickets, was they offered it on a firm. So, I mean, that's just something to consider when you have a bigger ticket item like the mono box set. Tim, don't you have that mono box set?
Yeah, I have the mono box set. It's the best Beatle pressings I think that I have anyway. I mean, but is it worth? I got it for probably under $250 when I bought it. So is it worth $600? I don't know.
Yeah,
I wish I had bought it back then.
I ran the inflation number from some buddies that bought it when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And based on inflation, they're still charging about an extra like $120 on it than what it was.
But records are you do inflation with records, and records are way past inflation anyway. All records are these days.
Well, the question is, I mean, Tom, you probably talked about it ad nauseum, but I haven't heard what your thoughts are. Where do you think that came from? Like that out of nowhere kind of like, oh, here's, whatever it was, 5,000 copies. Where did that come from?
I think because there's still a market for it. I mean, I think they see that there's still interest with people selling them on eBay and them selling on eBay for a decent price. Yeah, okay. Decent. I think they're
a decent price.
And I think the team sees that, and they're like, okay, well, if people are going to buy them for $1,000, $1,200, $1,300, $1,500, if there's still a want for them, well, let's reissue it.
I have a feeling that they went and actually looked at the plates and everything and said, is there enough life in these to reuse them some more? Yeah. Because I don't think they're doing anything new. I think
you're right.
The books, they'll have to make new books unless they had a bunch left for some reason. But and I think that's why it's fairly limited. And owning one, I mean, I haven't played mine in a couple years because it's worth so much money. I don't want to drop it in something.
Yeah, you want to keep
ridiculous. Now that it's back in print, I might get it out and play it a little bit more.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, you want to keep it as like an investment as well.
I've never even opened my book. My book is still sealed.
Oh wow!
Is there a chance that they're going to look at this and think like, oh, this is another money thing? We can press another 10,000 of these.
Oh I mean, this is.
I've already heard rumors that they're going to make more, but I don't believe them yet.
This is olive oil, baby. This is you can squeeze these olives dry, baby.
Eventually they'll have to make new stampers and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Well, if there's a lull, between other pressings or whatever, anytime they feel like, okay, we can get this out now and get some money, they will.
I mean, I can see this. I can see this being every 10 years. You know, every 10 years,
Yeah,
you're going to have
probably.
a bunch of people that are still going to be interested in getting the mono stuff. That's
Yeah.
as long as you keep the stereo stuff out there. You know, keep the stereo stuff out there, but then like every 10 years offer the mono.
But I don't know where they're pressing this either. You know, the last one got pressed in Germany, and they're really good pressings. I don't know where they're pressing this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the quality goes, the originals are the best quality you can get pretty much in a Beatle album.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would love for it to come back because I regret not just snagging it. And I know I'm about to see all these unboxings that people are going to be getting it, you know, the next few weeks. And you know, people I've talked to, like, oh, that's my Beatle, you know, grail. If my house catches on fire, those are the Beatles records I'm taking.
Do you have it on CD? Do you have the CD set?
No,
Sam?
I wasn't really collecting it at that time, and I know that those are still around there on eBay. They're still, you know, $200 or $300.
Yeah.
People hate me for saying this, but I say just grab a Chinese boot for $50. It'll sound the same. If you just want to hear the music, it'll sound the same. I have one, and they're fine. You know, they're cheap. They're obviously boots, but they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Just know what you're doing.
Do you have either of those sets, Robert, on CD or vinyl?
No.
Yeah.
No,
I almost pulled the trigger this time around, but I just said, you know what? Like, after a while, you already have several copies of each album, and I was like, do I really need it again in a box? And I probably do, but I didn't buy it. I didn't pull them. So
but here's something I will say about that. As far as it's a lot of money, yes, but if you were to go for the mono or original UK albums, or even the individual mono albums used, you'd spend that much money or more.
Yeah, true.
Without the box and without the book, and because
Tim, did the
let's face it, you don't even get all the Beatles albums.
Right. Tim, did the past masters, the mono masters, did that come in the that box set, the mono set?
Yeah.
Okay.
Set. It's a gatefold, just like the anthologies are.
Right. And that's the thing. It's 14 records, but it's because this double and triple album. So it's not separate albums. It's just the records, 14 records you get.
Yeah. No, and Matt, I've been kind of doing that with some certain stuff too, you know. But today I finished rebuying the classic Elton stuff on vinyl. I got Caribou today because that's like my least favorite of the classic.
Mine too.
Set, but it's just nice to to have that set, to have those records.
And the thing is, with that particular album, the B-sides of the singles, I think those songs, Sick City and Cold Highway, I think those are better than some of the songs on the album.
Yeah.
Well, that's also what he was doing. Like, that's like what Pinball Wizard and Stepping at Christmas for those sessions.
Right.
And those like the two hits on that album are like my least favorite of his big hits. Too. You know, The Bitch Is Back and Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. I can't stand those two songs.
I like those that Let the Sun Go Down on Me, but I'm tired of hearing it. And The Bitch Is Back I loved when it was new, but I almost can't listen to it now.
Right.
You know? And but it's like Island Girl, you know. I
like Island Girl.
I love Rock of the Westies. I love Rock of the Westies.
I love Rock of the Westies, but Island Girl, and then you gotta hit me with Grow Some Funk of Your Own right after it. Like, at least separate them.
Right.
I don't know. That's me.
Grow Some Funk of Your Own is a fun song, I think.
It is. It's a fun song, but I think it's spoiled by its position right after the annoying, in my opinion, Island Girl.
I've heard some people say, because I mean, so many people put Goodbye Yellow Brick Road as, you know, like the pennant, you know, that's the peak right there. But a lot of people say that, like, you know, the second disc of that record is like where Elton started slipping. I disagree, because I love the second disc.
Okay.
But a lot of people, you know, because you had that, and then obviously, like, you know, Captain Fantastic wasn't a hits album. Caribou had a couple hits. Westies, like all those albums, you know, they had their moments.
I mean, you can say that like it was kind of the downfall, but those are still #1 albums. You know?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always say, and I'm not disparaging the album at all, but it's kind of like the White Album. If Goodbye Yellow Brick Road was a single LP and it was just the best songs on one album, it would be on everyone's top 10 best albums ever made.
Yeah, it'd be like Rumors.
Not #1. You know, I mean, if it had no filler on it whatsoever, and you know, it's
you never knew those other songs as
he was.
But to be fair, I love stuff like Grey Seal and Jamaican Jerk Off.
See, that one I can't stand.
Jamaican Jerk Off, I can't stand.
What's the one?
That
Sweet
one
Painted
song ruins the album for me. I like every other song on it. That song ruins it for me. Much like Island Girl does for Rock of the Westies.
Huh.
Yeah. What's the song about? Sweet Painted Lady? Is that the title of that song? I think that's a brilliant song. I think that's like a great deep cut on that album.
Song, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Roy Rogers. That's a great tune. The song has no title.
I've seen that movie too. I like that song.
I've seen that movie too. It's fantastic.
And the great thing about Grey Seal is like he's had there's versions of that go back to 1970.
Oh yeah.
That's an old song.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Right.
Yeah. No, it even got released back then, and then he redid it anyway. It was B-side or something.
All the young girls love Alice. That's another good one too.
Yeah.
What I always wanted to see from Elton was an album of his B-sides. And I know he's got the B-sides on, what is it, the Jewel set?
Well, there was that, I forget what it's called. It's a 2-record CD. It's got like a brownish cover on it. Came out sometime in the 80s.
Oh, the Rare something?
Yeah, something. That's most of his B-sides.
I think it came out in the 90s. I think it came out in the 90s.
That's the one that has. That's the one that has Friends on it, right?
Yeah,
it has the Friends soundtrack on it.
Well, probably. Yeah, I think. It only went up to like 77. I think Ego might be on it. And that might be Ego, and the B side might be like the last 2 songs.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that kind of drives me crazy with the collections. You know, you had Greatest Hits 1 and then 2. Which dipped into the same years as 1 for 3 songs, I think. Then you had 3, and then all of a sudden it ends, and then all of a sudden you had the Greatest Hits.
Well, then you had the To Be Continued 4-CD box set, which was
then you had
which was great.
So you had these career spanning things, but you have nothing that goes beyond 2002, I think. You know,
Well, that's a different time in music, though.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
You know,
but I'd like to make one myself.
Well, there's a video right there. You know, what would your Elton John? For the last 25 years?
Believe me, I've been listening to Elton John. I've been thinking about that. Like,
well, then you got
Caribou. Like I would take certain songs off of there and put the B-sides on, like Cold Highway. Cold Highway is a great song. That should have been on the album, in my opinion. And I was thinking about making videos like that. Like, you know, I was actually thinking of calling it Fiddling with Elton, but I thought that might sound a little too nasty.
Fiddling.
It's like Echoes of Tommy by the Who. Yeah, Fiddling
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was always interested because there was always a rumor. I mean, obviously there were several years where Elton was so good at releasing the extra stuff. You know, he'd like the small, like Honky Chateau, like double CD thing. He did the Madman set, and the big thing was that, like, you know, he he re-released "Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player" for Record Store Day, right? And like it was remastered or whatever. And the idea was that like, oh, he's saving up because Goodbye Yellow Brick Road came out later that year. Why did we not get like a
we should have got like a massive 6 CD, 2 DVD set of the 50th anniversary of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Yeah. Oh, that no doubt we should have got a massive box set for that album.
The fifth, like it just came and went. It was like we got this whole thing with "Don't Shoot Me" during Record Store Day for like, oh, okay, there it is. But he's saving up. We don't need the "Don't Shoot Me." Like we don't need Texan Love Song. Take 6.
Oh, well, we need that. No, we need that song. I love that song.
I do love that song. I do love that song.
Yeah. But I mean, you're not going to hear it played anymore. But I love that song.
No, right. But Goodbye Yellow Brick Road would have been such a commercial success.
Well, it's the same with the Ringo album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ringo album would have been a commercial success.
So do I, but I think the studio nixed it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so.
Because there were so many like archival things with Elton. I know he's always, one of the big people during Record Store Day. I mean, he just did like the Ray Cooper thing, which they just announced is coming out on CD now.
Well, yeah, because it was only a first, so I'm I'm happy that so I'll be picking that up when it gets reissued. Yeah,
I passed on at Record Store Day. I saw it stuck around for a couple of days at my shop, and it's still you can still find it online. I mean, like Platinum still does it. But Goodbye Yellow Brick Road was just a wash. I don't know what happened.
Did you see the documentary on Disney Plus?
About the tour, like the
tour, and then and then it went back. Then it showed some old footage too.
I haven't seen it. Actually.
I saw the tour in Charlotte with my dad. It was my Christmas present to him.
Yeah,
he had never seen him. Elton's his guy. He'd never seen him.
Yeah, so we worked one of the very first shows when it was in Arizona, and this was I think in 19. Because then we know that 2020 the tour went on, got shut down, and the hiatus, right? So that was cool that we got to work that show, but then it was his last it was like the second or third to last show where I got to see it in Arizona when I was still living there, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, and the visuals. I mean, I know Have Mercy on the Criminal was a highlight for my dad.
Oh, absolute. Burn Down the Mission.
I love how he does that.
Yeah.
But the whole
Burn Down the Mission, and what was the other one?
Like the deeper cuts.
Burn Down the Mission, Have Mercy on the Criminal, and I'm forgetting the song right now, but I'll think of it. But
yeah. I mean, I love that he was doing Border songs.
That's it. Border song.
He was doing that acoustic, just on piano.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Because he told the story about Aretha Franklin.
Yes. Yep. He did that. Yeah, for us too.
That was his first single, right? Border song.
Yeah.
Before your song.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Because Your Song was on
the first single in the UK.
Well, let me ask you guys this: Is Empty Sky worth getting?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say so. I have the alternate cover version with like the Sphinx on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
It's weird because like it has like, correct me, Robert. Like the last track, they kind of like take clips of like all the other tracks, right, and kind of medley it together.
Is that Hayseed, Jude, and all that, and then it goes into it goes into like exactly. They're doing a medley of it, like the songs.
You keep talking. I haven't looked at that in a while.
I personally like that album a lot.
Do you? Okay, I'll pick it up then. All right.
I mean, don't go into it with expectations that it's going to sound like the other Elton John. I get it. You've heard like Regimental Sergeant Zippo, right?
Yeah, I bought that Record Store Day release. Yeah,
it's in between that and Elton. The thing is, you listen to that and you can hear where Elton is going in some of these songs. It's very like
Alan Parsons project looking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the other
Yeah.
one with him. Sort of looked like a painted or something with him.
Skyline Pigeon. I mean, it's just a
Piano.
great tune. Like,
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
really
I
good.
think that's
Yeah.
like the main track of the album, Skyline Pigeon.
Valhalla is another good
It
one.
is. Valhalla is great, and Western Ford Skyline.
Yeah, at this point, he didn't have the Elton John band. I mean, like Nigel
Yeah.
plays on one track. Caleb Quay is on this. He was,
Yeah, exactly. And Caleb, of course, Caleb would come back later, but
yeah. No,
No,
it's kind of like proggy Elton. When you say Robert,
it is, I'd say, yeah, more so than the Elton we used to. But again, there's some elements of what's to come in the 70s and even what he would later perhaps do in terms of the more orchestral instrumental type arrangement.
Because I adore the Live in Australia disc. I think that's one of my favorite live albums that he put out.
yeah,
that was pretty good
that was
too.
with the symphony, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think one of the best live albums ever is 11/17/70.
Well,
I mean,
there's that.
That's
That's
amazing.
fantastic.
Right. I mean, to be in attendance to one of those shows, you know, wouldn't that have been cool?
Yes.
What was it here? I mean, Here and There is also great.
Yeah.
That's what I just
The
mentioned.
expanded version on CD, especially.
Yeah,
Did that ever
that's
come
what
out
I-
like on Record Store Day as a full thing? It should have. If it didn't, that would be a great Record Store Day thing. The CD version on vinyl.
That would be a great thing for Elton to do now that he's kind of quit touring, is to like do those small shows of like, I'm going to do, Honky Chateau and Madman back to back.
Right.
And he does that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Like the Beacon, like he could hang out in New York for like 10 days and just do his
Right.
records in full.
Well, I think he's got another album in him coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think no, absolutely.
He's a workaholic. I mean, that tour, I mean, like Tom was mentioning, lasted about 5 years, give or take.
Yeah, no.
Give or take. I mean, that's the thing, though. It was like Kiss as well, because they were doing their, and that tour suffered as well, because that tour originally was supposed to be over in 2020. But it ended up.
What about the Who's farewell?
Yeah, right. The third time around. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Elton's definitely going to do other things. I mean, he's mentioned that a million times, and he's always working. He's he did that book a few years ago. He had the movie. I mean, he even when the paperback came out, he added like an extra couple of chapters to cover his last year since the previous book had come out.
Right.
So he obviously has the AIDS Foundation, which he's all into all the time. So he's not. And I think even interviews that he's done with Brandi Carlile, he's kind of said, he's like, I want Brandi to do her own thing next record because he had so much respect for her. I think it'd be great for Elton to do like a symphonic record, kind of Blue Moves, kind of do something like that again. There's a lot of potential.
Something a little bit more arrangement heavy, a little more orchestration.
He has what is the soundtrack that he did that's like that?
What?
Oh, I'm drawing a blank now.
Aida?
Where not Aida. It was
or Aida, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. Oh God. Because I just saw Aida and
there you go.
The Met earlier today. This year.
There's Friends.
Friends is a great album.
And then he did
he did a soundtrack that's just instrumental, and that for the life of me I can't think of what it is now. It sucks getting old, I'm telling you.
Well, it also helps that Elton has put out 1 million records.
He's put out more records than McCartney has in his solo career.
Oh yeah,
he's got 31 studio albums.
Yeah. Same with Neil Young. Neil Young's put out more. Yeah, Neil Young's put out more records than McCartney has too.
Well, Neil Young's goal was to put out an album a year, and he succeeded for 40 years.
Yeah.
Before he finally stopped and put out one every other year or something. But he's not out.
What is?
I'm gonna see if I can
Costello
Google it.
actually was doing the same thing for a long, long time too.
Costello had a good streak with an album every year too.
Yeah, he was doing it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Was it the Muse, Robert?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, from
The
'99.
Muse, thank you.
Yeah, and Elton took a stab at television too. What happened to Robert? Robert,
He got mad about the soundtrack.
because
He got mad that he couldn't remember.
that Elvis Costello did Spectacle. Elton John was the executive producer on that show.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, he even went into he got Elvis that show. He said, "Why don't you do this? You'd be great at it." And off they went.
yeah. You forget how many Elton soundtracks there are. I mean, obviously, like you think about guys like in the same vein, like the Randy Newmans who have done a million different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Elton. I mean, he did so many. I mean, Catherine mentions Lion King, obviously, but like he did like El Dorado from DreamWorks around the same time.
He did the gnome things.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo,
Billy
yeah.
Elliot. He did that.
Oh, and
Billy, he did Billy Elliot, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he did the before he was famous. He was a studio musician.
Right. He did like cover songs. And
Yeah, I have that CD.
He covered
I like
McCartney.
yeah, like those discount records, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did a video on that.
That's somebody that I don't know about as much as Paul Weller. I know he's respected amongst his fans.
My oldest son liked Paul Weller a lot.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
like
familiar
him,
with
but
Paul
I
Weller.
like him in the jam. I don't like the style council all that much. I like some of his solo stuff. His first album, I think, is his first album on Yep Rock. I really love, and
yeah.
but no, I don't love everything he's ever done, but I like him.
Yeah. I mean, I see his name all the time. I've never tried to jump into his stuff. I feel like I would like it, but I don't know. But well, guys, this was fun. I'm probably gonna jump off here.
Yeah. I never dreamed I was going to be on this long.
I'm glad you were, Robert, because otherwise people would have to look at my boring jazz records that I've never even listened to, and I would just been like, "Here's this jazz record I bought. I hope it's good." So instead, we talked about Americana Ringo and why Elton John should put out box sets. So I appreciate you guys jumping on.
And we know Tom's choice in beer when he doesn't have the money to spend on Sam Adams.
Right, he puts the big bucks down.
No, I've got the money to spend.
Oh, okay.
Just choose to go cheaper.
I thought maybe you were ordering some kind of box sets again and couldn't afford the beer.
Well,
Well, he said he's just outside. He's really sleeping in the city park.
I was like, what did Mayo decide to get rid of now?
Right.
Yeah, you know what he got rid of his Beach Boys and Johnny Cash most recently.
Yeah.
I walked into the record store as he was doing it, getting rid of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. That's funny.
Well, it was great seeing you guys. I think I've only been on one stream with Tim ever. So this was good to see you, Tim.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Tom, Robert, as always, it's great. I know it's just always good to talk to you guys, and this was just last minute. So I'm glad it turned into this.
Thanks for doing it.
I'm glad I saw you on online, and I had time to hop on since I wasn't doing anything else here.
Hop on, look at that. Hop on. Ha ha ha.
Well,
no pun intended, right?
I appreciate you all watching, everybody in the comments, talking and sticking with us. But yeah, Tim, Tom, Robert, we will talk to you guys very soon, I hope.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.
All right.
See you
Take
guys.
care.
Good night, guys.
So long.
Yep.